2nd of February, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Hashavua, Yisro.
Hey, as Lou mentioned, good morning. This is Rabbi Stone, first year Yeshiva Samanapti here in Shalom Care of Zoom. Erev Shabbos Parshas Yisro. We are learning today Chumash of Shabbos. Let me direct you to the following psukim. We'll begin. I have you. Many things here. Fine. Let's start with the pasuk. By Shishi, that would be in Perek Yutes, chapter 19, pasuk Chaf, pasuk 20. Okay, let me know when you have it there. We'll continue and begin.
Is that the one that is taught?
Let's see. Chapter 19, verse 20. V'yered.
Should I read?
Yeah, I think so. Roy, do you have that pasuk there?
Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. What have I got? I'm on Shalach. Why am I? Right. So, 19, Yisro 19. Book Gimel is not right. Book Faith is not right. But it's getting 22. Sorry.
Yeah, you could begin, Lou. Yeah.
Yeah, 20, and what did you say? And Pasuk
Verse 9,
19.
chapter 19, verse 20.
Chapter 19, verse 20.
Yeah, begin, Roy. Go ahead.
19.
V'yered Hashem El Har Sinai, El Rosh Hahar, Vayikra Hashem Moshe El Rosh Hahar, Vayal Moshe. So Hashem descended upon Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain, and Hashem called to Moshe to the top of the mountain. Hashem called Moshe to the top of the mountain, and Moshe ascended.
Okay. Yeah, Rashi.
Rashi says, and Hashem descended on Mount Sinai. One might think, on the basis of this verse, that he actually descended on it. Because otherwise, the Torah says, "For from the heavens I spoke with you." Yet, how can the Torah tell us in one verse that he descended onto the mountain? And then tells in another that he was in the heavens. It teaches us that he bent the upper and lower heavens, spread them over the mountain, like a seat on a bed. And the throne of glory descended on them. Thus, by bending the heavens, God was both in the heavens and on Mount Sinai simultaneously.
So obviously, it takes a lot of understanding what this is talking about, which is beyond us right now. But suffice it to say that there are obviously certain what have to understand what does it mean that the heavens descended, right? But perhaps what we could say is, at least in terms of the metaphorically, that that the giving of the Torah, right? The giving of the Torah was the opportunity which humanity now had to become spiritual, like the metaphorically speaking, the idea of the heavens descending to the earth, right? Meaning the heavens, obviously, meaning something which is spiritual, right, and distinct, and apart from that which is physical. So the descent of the spiritual into the physical world, that was metaphorically being described over here, and it was also parallel the actual process that was taking place with the giving of the Torah to Klal Yisrael. Now, with the Torah being given to Klal Yisrael, now infused in the physical world the potential for ruchnius, for spiritual accomplishments. Okay, let's continue on.
Vayomer Hashem El Moshe Raid Ha'ed Ba'am En Yeher Hu El Hashem Yeros Nafal Yimenu Ra. And Hashem said to Moshe, descend. Warn the people, lest they will destroy to Hashem. You see, and they will fall from them evil, Rob, many. Wow. This is very hard to.
Okay, so first of all, let's try and get let's work on the translation here again. Roy, you have your translation. How do they translate this pasuk in your edition there, Roy?
Roy, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you sit closer to your microphone, please?
Pasuk 21.
Yes.
Yes, pasuk 21, correct.
And the Eternal said unto Moses, go down, judge the people, lest they break through towards your eternity. And many will say,
the aid ba'am pen yichud, so they break through. They Yisro, that they break through, huh? Okay, let's take a look at Rashi. Go ahead, Lou, with the Rashis.
Warn the people not to go up to the mountain. Now my English says, lest they will destroy. You said it was used, lest they will break through. Break through makes a lot more sense.
Right.
Which means warn them that they should not destroy their present position, i.e., they should not break ranks. Okay. Because of their desire to come close to Hashem, be able to see revelation, and they might come too close to the side of the mountain. And many would fall from among them. Whatever number may fall from among them, even if it is an individual, is considered many before me. Lest they will destroy. Any construction separates the selection of the unity of the parts of a structure. So too, those who separate from an arranged position of men, i.e., they break the ranks in organized assemblies, destroy the position.
Not to break ranks. They shouldn't break the ranks. Okay. Okay, good. Let's continue on.
Okay, 22. The Gam HaKohanim Nigashim El Hashem Adashim and wrote Bahem Hashem. And also, the Kohanim came close to Hashem to prepare themselves lest Hashem will make a breach against them. Roads, because roads is a breach. I don't know exactly what that means.
So here, well, actually, Rashi explains it a bit.
Okay.
Here, Rashi explains the context of what we're talking about here.
Also, the Kohanim, that is also the firstborn for the sacrificial service performed by them.
So first of all, Rashi says, what does it mean? What does it mean? It says the pasuk says Gam HaKohanim. So what is so is Rashi? And Rashi uses Af HaBechoros Shall Vodim Behem. Also the Bechoros. So that does that mean that there were Kohanim and also Bechoros, or Bechoros were the Kohanim?
I think it means the second, that they were the Kohanim. It says off. I translate
Right.
off as even.
Mm-hmm.
Even the firstborn.
Okay, fine, that's good.
Who come close unto Hashem to bring altar offerings. They too should not rely upon their importance to ascend the mountain, to prepare themselves. They should be ready to stand at their position. Thus Hashem make a breach. This is an expression of a breach. It means that he will kill among them, and thereby make a breach in them. My footnote says this is like in Yisro. Rashi explains Haaretz as to become strong, exercise strength.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, they become too strong, and thereby they act in a way that's not appropriate, and Hashem kills them.
Okay. Right, very good. One second. Okay, let's continue. Good. That makes it clear. The pasuk had the difficulty with this Yifrots in the pasuk understanding of the pasuk.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like these psukim that you're having us read are painting a picture. Hashem is going to great lengths to so to speak, make all this happen. With the bending of the heavens and the elevating of the earth and bringing everything close together. And in that process, there's created a tremendous sense of danger that people are going to be killed, and everybody's got to be really careful. Is that the gist of what's going on here?
Well, I mean, you're being sensitive to the fact that the Torah, when it's describing this process, like there's a lot of seriousness going on here. There's warnings taking place. There's various different commands given in terms of the way that the people should be organized and behaving at the time of the giving of the Torah, which is, I think, very significant. I'm not sure if you remember, there's a Gemara in Avodah Zorah that actually, in a certain way, it parallels this a certain way. That the Gemara there in Avodah Zorah is talking about when the Kadosh Baruch Hu comes after Mashiach has come and such, and Kadosh Baruch Hu, you may remember the Gemara, we learned it a bit a few years ago. Gemara says that the Kadosh Baruch Hu came with the Sefer Torah, and he said, Misha Oisik Ba Yito Schara, person who is involved with the Torah, they should come now and receive their reward. So Miyad Mechkabsin Uboim Oivdi Chuchavim Beruvia. So immediately when the Goyim heard that Kadosh Baruch Hu was going to give reward for those who were involved with Torah, so all the pagan nations, they came Beruvia, they came in a great mass of confusion, because it says Shenemar Kol Goyim Nikapsu Yakat, all the Goyim came together, right? So Amar Lema Kadosh Baruch Hu. So Hashem said to them, I'll take Nasul if not Beruvia. No, you're not going to come in front of me in a confused mass. That each nation shall come individually along with its leaders. So you see, Kadosh Baruch Hu was very concerned that people they simply just don't appear before Kadosh Baruch Hu in a great state of confusion. Right? That's not the way to approach a king, right? So likewise here, we see an illustration of this as well, that the masses of the people here at Klal Yisrael, when the giving of the Torah, were warned that they shouldn't break rank, that there are limits into where they should come and how they should be organized, and they're not to break rank. And Kadosh Baruch Hu was concerned about this. So it could be that's a certain hanhaga of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that first of all, it's also derech eretz. You don't come in front of a king all in mass. It's not a free for all. But there's when you're in this presence of a king, you have to behave in certain ways, and one of this is that there's a certain format of and decorum that has to be maintained. Altikanis. What's this? What's this again? So maybe that's part of what's going on here. Okay, let's continue on.
Okay, let's see.
It says here,
sorry?
yeah, it said there one of the Meforshim, speaking about that point, they explain, just to add a little bit more, the Sefer Bris Sholem says that Kadosh Baruch Hu that Eruvia Remesh Eruvia Sanoi v'to'ev l'fnei Yisbora. Eruv, confusion, is hateful and despised by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Af heichen de lo hizir al aruvia, kidin sanu dashin. Right, the Kadosh Baruch Hu does not, right, is not pleased with confusion. Right, one of the hallmarks of the Bria. You look into the way Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world. Everything's in organized fashion. There's no confusion there, right? That so especially at the time when the Kadosh Baruch Hu was giving, there should be an order and a semblance of arrangement and consistency in what's going to happen here. It's not simply going to happen. That's probably one of the meters of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu also is extremely organized and not the opposite of confusion. Right? Okay, let's continue.
Vayomer Moshe el Hashem lo yuchal ha'am la'alos el har Sinai ki ata ha'edosar banu lemor Hagdel es hahar v'kidashto. And Moshe said to Hashem, the people are not able to ascend the mountain. Not Mount Sinai, because you have warned us, saying, bind the mountain and sanctify it.
Exactly, right.
Rashi said the people will not be able. I do not need to warn them. Today they are in a state of having been warned for a 3-day period. And they will not be able to go up, but they have no permission to do so.
Right.
So Hashem, seems like Moshe is complaining. He's saying, why are you telling Hashem, why are you telling me to warn them? You already warned them.
Right. So it seems an extra special warning that's taking place, yes?
It seems like Moshe is implying that it's unnecessary.
Okay, let's see Rashi.
I did the Rashi already.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Rashi explains that Moshe is saying to Hashem, you don't need to warn them. They've already been warned.
Okay, good. So good. Let's see the next passage. What is the Kadosh Baruch Hu's answer to this?
Vayomer Elav Hashem left rain the Lisa Atah the Haron Imach HaKohanim the Ha'am Al Yet Er Su Los Es Hashem Pen Yifratz Bam. So Hashem said to him, Moshe, go descend and ascend, you and Aaron with you, but the Kohanim and the people, they shall not break through to ascend to Hashem, lest he will make a breach amongst them. Rashi says, go descend and warn them a second time. Or we spur on a person, follow instructions by warning him prior to the act. Spur him on again at the time of the act. Then you shall ascend, you and Aaron with you, but the Kohanim, one might think, on the basis of this verse, that Aaron and the Kohanim are also with you at the same level on the mountain. To teach us otherwise, the Torah says, then you shall ascend, you, say now that God is telling Moshe, you Moses, are to be in the area to yourself. And Aaron is to be in an area to himself. And the Kohanim are to be within an area to themselves. Moses came closer to the divine presence than Aaron. And Aaron came closer than the Kohanim. But the people shall not break through their position at all, but send to Hashem, lest they will make a breach. Even though the word Yifratz is vowelized with a Fataf Hamatz, and the footnote says that when Rashi says Fataf Kamatz, he means that Kamatz Satan. Unlike the previous appearance of the word in verse 22, which is vowelized with the Cholon, it does not move from its construction. It is vowelized differently because it touches the way of any word which is vowelized with a melapum. Melapum, the footnote says, means a cholom. When it appears with a mekaf, the hyphen between Ratz and Bam, which indicates a close connection between the words. The vowelization is changed from a cholom to a Fataf Kamatz.
Okay, that's a grammatical point. But let's go back to the beginning of this Rashi. I think Rashi answers the question that even Moshe Rabbeinu was asking, meaning they've been warmed already, right?
Right.
So how does Rashi answer that question? What did Hashem say to do it again? What was the necessity of that? If they've been warned once, they
warn
should-
them twice. Once when they're preparing and once when they're actually doing it.
Right.
So
That's a
what's Moshe Rabbeinu? What's his perspective?
he was asking simply that, as you pointed out, that it's not apparently necessary to tell the people about this because they've been warned once already, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu apparently was being taught by HaKadosh Baruch Hu that it's not enough to warn them before the actual event. You have to warn them before the event, so they should be prepared. And then remind them a second time and warn them a second time when the actual event is taking place. So that's what this pasuk is teaching us, that Hashem's response to Moshe Rabbeinu's question was that true, they've been warned once before, but that's not sufficient. You need to warn them again at the actual time when the event's taking place.
I have another thought, maybe. Maybe Moshe didn't realize that he needed to descend for more than one reason. One reason was to warn the people a second time. The other reason was to bring Aaron and the Kohanim up. And in doing so, Hashem is concerned that maybe when the people see Aaron and the Kohanim going up, they might get confused about, did the rule change? How come Aaron and the Kohanim are going up, but nobody's allowed to go up? Maybe Hashem is saying, now that you're going down again, we need to warn them again, just to make sure that there's no confusion.
Yeah, I can understand that. Also, let me just maybe add, it's two different things. When you warn beforehand, okay, that's very good. And then, like you mentioned, that if everyone thought that, well, no one's going up except maybe perhaps Moshe, so that's okay. But when they see that certain people are in fact going up, so they say, well, maybe I can go up as well. Now there's a strong Yisro that they should want to go up as well. If no one's going up, so okay, no one's going up. When they see people are going up, so they would want to be included in that as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now this point that there was a separation of the people, and Moshe went up as high as possible, then Aaron. Apparently, it wasn't supposed to be that way exactly. If you take a look in Parsha Shmos, go back a few Parshas, Parsha Shmos. That will be in, let's start, Take a look at them in Perek Hay, Pasuk Aleph. That's in Parsha Shmos.
Hey, Olive. Afterwards, Moshe and Aaron came and said to Pharaoh, "So said Hashem, God of Israel, send out my people that they may celebrate for me in the wilderness." That's the pasuk.
That's right. Take a look at Rashi here.
Okay. Afterwards, Moshe and Aaron came and said, but the elders who had been with Moshe and Aaron slipped away one by one from behind Moshe and Aaron until all of them had slipped away before they arrived at the palace of Pharaoh, because they were afraid to go to Pharaoh. At Sinai, the abandonment of Moshe and Aaron was paid back to them, as it says regarding the revelation at Mount Sinai, Moshe alone shall approach Hashem, but they, the 70 elders, shall not approach. God sent the elders back for abandoning Moshe.
So apparently, at the beginning, the Zikanim, the elders were in fact supposed to come up to our Sinai.
Right.
Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that pasuk over there. Chav Dalid, in our part, Chav Dalid days. That's in Parshas. That's jumping a few weeks ahead of time. Pasuk Chav Dalid.
Chav Dalid. That's a
Pasuk
pasuk, or
Beis.
that's the chapter.
That chapter Chav Dalid, pasuk Beis.
Okay, Chav Dalid. Pasuk Beis. Okay, and Moshe shall approach by himself toward Hashem, but they shall not approach, and the people shall not go up with him. Rashi says, Moshe shall approach by himself to the fog. I don't know what the fog is.
Well, that's the Amraphel. That's a little bit more than just fog, but the cloud that was covering our Sinai at the time.
Okay, so Moshe goes up by himself. Doesn't say anything about Aaron going up part way, and what did it say?
Right.
Aaron went up part way, and Kohanim went up.
Yeah, well, that's based on our pasuk that we, not the pasuk in Shmos, but the pasuk in our Parsha.
Right.
That's where the Torah tells you that there was a separation. Here it just says that Moshe Rabbeinu went up by himself, but the different levels of where the other people could be, that was discussed in our Parsha's Yisro.
Right. So, so it would seem like it's saying that there was a punishment going on here for the elders.
If based on that Rashi and Shmos, I mean, it's simply not a punishment. Punishment is not interested in simple punishing. It's midah keneged midah, meaning we're talking about here about approaching Kadosh Baruch Hu, and obviously it has to be quite a high level of Yiras Shamayim in order to be able to do that successfully. And what happened in Mitzrayim, when as Rashi explains that the elders had slipped away from Moshe and Aaron, right? So they were afraid of Basar Adam. They were afraid of Paro, right? So a person who's afraid of Basar Adam, when it comes time to approach the Kadosh Baruch Hu, he's going to be found to be lacking, right? So it's not simply punishment here, that they weren't worthy, right? They weren't worthy of approaching the Kadosh Baruch Hu, which, as you can imagine, is a quite serious thing, and much more serious than approaching Paro. So the that which existed there in Mitzrayim, that the Zakanim did not fulfill the expectations of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and joining with Moshe and Aaron and going to Paro. So that was that's something which was showed up to them, and they felt they understood the consequences of that when it came to Har Sinai. Had they been more Moser Nefesh, I mean, obviously, I'm not making light of the fact that approaching a king uninvited is a fearsome, awesome experience. We see that by Esther, right? She said to Mordecai said, you have to go and approach Achashverosh, the king. And she said she hasn't been called in the last 30 days, and the rule with Persian kings was if you hadn't been called in the last 30 days, you can't come unless you're invited. And I can't go in uninvited. I'm risking my life. So, also, here you just don't barge into a king. Here, that's what we just quoted in the Gemara in Avodah Zarah. Kadosh Baruch Hu said to the nations, you're not going to come to me in a confused, wild, massive people. No, you have to come in orderly fashion. So that's something which kings demand of them, of their respect and their honor. And to violate that is very dangerous. So you can't really, whether you can fault the Zakanim for not going in, it's reasonable that they didn't want to go in, but unfortunately when it came time to accept the Torah, so they were found lacking because they didn't have that desire to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu when they had the opportunity in the Mitzrayim.
So I'm focusing on the word you said, worthy. And that makes me think of the word trustworthy.
Okay.
So a person is trustworthy, worthy of trust. How do you become trustworthy? Well, if someone trusts you, and you don't betray that trust, let's say they tell you something private, and you don't go blabbing that around. You keep it to yourself, and they see that you kept it to yourself. They decide, well, you're trustworthy, and they're going to trust you again. And the more this happens, the more strong it becomes, the more trustworthy you are. So now we're saying that the elders are not worthy to stand before Hashem, to go close, to go up to the mountain, because when it came time for them to go to Paro, they didn't go. But that was because they couldn't overcome their fear. They had a legitimate fear. What's the relationship? What's the connection between overcoming one's fear and being worthy to go closer to Hashem?
Right. Well, to expand on this point, let's see if I can find the point that I want to make here. In Parsha Shmos, also in Parsha Shmos, second. Second. Take a look in Shmos Perek Gimel, Pasuk Vav.
Okay. And Hashem said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, the God of Yaakov. Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to gaze toward Hashem.
Right.
No Rashi on that.
Right. There's no Rashi on that. But 1 second, I have to look this up. Let's see. this point, what there's not sure if I have time to find it for you now, but there came a time when Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to see a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and I believe Rashi at one point mentions this pasuk that because of Moshe Rabbeinu feared and covered his face from seeing Hashem, right? So he wasn't privileged to see Kadosh Baruch Hu the way he really in the full glory.
It's interesting. I always thought this was a good thing that he hid his face.
Well, I mean, it shows respect. I mean, on one hand, yes. On one hand, no. I mean, could be taken several ways.
I always associated with humility. That Moshe was thinking to himself, who am I to look at Hashem? Hashem is so great and I'm so small.
Right. I mean, that's obviously involved here. Okay. 1 second. Second, maybe I can find it. One second. Yeah. No, it's gonna take me more time than we're always. So I think we're going a bit over time now. Anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
Yeah, but suffice it to say that I was just using this as an illustration where here Moshe Rabbeinu also was in some, even though you could take it in a way that he was fearful of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and that's a proper thing to be. Nevertheless, since in some way he held himself back from seeing the full glory of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, so he was taken to task on this at a later time. Later I'll try and find it. It's a Rashi later on, I think in Devarim. Try and find it.
Okay. That'd be great.
Okay. Very good. Thank you both. Have a good Erev Shabbos. Hope to see you on the home.
Have a good Shabbos also.
Very good.
Thank you.
Mitzvah Hashem.
Roy, have a good
Shabbos.
Well.
Thank you. Shalom, bye.
Bye-bye.